All right. Welcome back to the Scrubs to Riches podcast. I'm your host, Nurse Shelbo. You can find me on Instagram at nurse_Shelbo. And today we're going to be talking about self-sabotage and self-preservation, a theme that I deal with a lot as a nurse, and I know a lot of other nurses deal with. And I don't think it's just necessarily people in healthcare, but all around. I think that with the way the world is right now, with social media at our fingertips, as much information as we've ever had in the world, I think that it is easier and easier to be distracted and to want to be distracted. And that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, so today I want to start by asking off a question. Have you ever noticed that the biggest challenges in your life are the ones that you put in your own way? This is the essence of self-sabotage. We know what we need to do. It seems like every time we get the idea, we start to make the plan, there are things that our mind kind of goes through where we know that we're going to be uncomfortable for a little bit, and we fixate on being uncomfortable, not the aftermath, the reward after that. So I kind of want to bring in a story. Well, this has pretty much been my last 10 days. I've worked 8 out of 10 days. The 2 days that I had already booked up things to do. And it all started from, first of all, about a month ago. My schedule came out and I said, you know what, I'm not going to work more than I need to. I need to focus more on my social media, my working out, my happiness, my podcast. And I decided that was it. I'm not going to do it. So a couple days goes past, schedule's out, I'm seeing all these holes, everybody's talking about it. I have a couple other nurses that are like, oh, I'm going to pick up these 16s and whoop-de-whoop. And that gets my wheels kind of turning a little bit. And I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I could pick up 1, 2, maybe 3. So anyways, I become reactionary because I get stressed out. And what I do when I'm reactionary is I can definitely self-sabotage if I don't keep my mind in check, right? And what did I do? I picked up the scheduler and I looked at some holes and I said, oh, I can do 16 there, I can do 16 there, I can do 4 hours there, and blah, blah, blah. The thing is that it takes 15 seconds to fill out that book, and then that's my commitment for the next 2 weeks. So long story short is I finished off those 2 weeks and I was unbelievably stressed, didn't work out, didn't have anything else to do, didn't allow myself to do anything, and I tried my hardest to pour from an empty cup. And if you guys have ever been there, it is exhausting. It sucks. And so I'm finally off of that thing. And so, yeah. So in this podcast, I want to talk about self-sabotage and self-preservation. As I mentioned before, self-sabotage is when we are choosing the short-term comfort that hurts the long-term goals, right? Short-term comfort in that story was that I knew that my paycheck was going to be bigger, right? But I didn't think about the lack of sleep that I would have, the lack of exercise that I would do, and all of those cascading things thereon after. Now, for me, back in the day, when I used to self-sabotage, it would be in a very self-destructive way. I mean, very. I would look for an excuse to go out with my buddies, have a couple drinks. That usually led out to a really long night, and it would just ruin the next couple days that I had off. So I've been really cognizant in not doing that, and to really make a plan, sticking to it, and honestly just finding a lot of fun in my activities outside of work and fitness and all of those things. What I'm trying to say is that self-preservation is really important. On the other side of that, on the other side of self-destruction is self-preservation. And essentially, self-preservation is protecting your mental and physical energy in a way that sets you up for success, right? So one thing that I've had a problem with is boundaries, setting boundaries with myself. I can set boundaries with other people. That's not a problem, never has been. But boundaries within myself. Sometimes I get overzealous and I want to do more and more and more, add on more and more, and I don't like to quit anything once I started. So I really have been trying to figure out what works for me and what I can consistently do, which is why one of the things that I talk about on my Instagram is your floor to ceiling, or my floor to ceiling, right? My floor is the bare minimum that I can do to still progress forward. So for me, it's like 100 push-ups a day. I can knock that out in 2 minutes, giving a couple rests a little bit here and there, not really super pushing myself, right? Well, my ceiling in that sense also is like a 2-hour, 120%, give it all I got, workout, spa day, like all that kind of stuff. As long as I hit somewhere between that floor to ceiling, I know that I'm still progressing throughout the day. So that is my version of self-preservation that has worked for me. As healthcare workers, we tend to blur the lines, right? We think that all we want to do on our day off is reset, sit on the couch, watch TV, order DoorDash, and really kind of do nothing. And it's my belief that that only sets you up for failure when you go back to work, when you go back into that grind. And the reason being is because we don't have anything that we can look back on, reflect on, and be like, you know what, that was really hard and I did something. I have that feeling of accomplishment. What are you really going to accomplish when you spend all day on the couch ordering DoorDash and the only time you get up and walk is use the restroom or go pick up your food from the front door? So I really want to emphasize that being uncomfortable for a little bit, knowing that you are going to progress forward, is really a super good way to actually recharge, to actually fill that cup. You have to be proactive in it and not just passive. So I want to give an example of what I did today and what I was really looking forward to. And I got up and did a run. As I mentioned before, I did these 8 days in a row, essentially 8 out of 10 days. And all I thought about was just going on a run. And today I woke up, had a couple cups of coffee, started to do a couple things on my computer to get ready for this podcast. And then I was like, all right, it's time. Let's go. Let's go. Put on my uniform, which is jogging shorts, an old band t-shirt, a backwards hat, my sunglasses, and my 20-pound ruck vest. And that, once I put on that vest, I know that it is my time to run or to get a good solid cardio workout in, whatever that is. So today I ran 4 miles. I think I averaged like 15-ish minutes a mile. Not my best, but I knew that I just had to go out there and get it. Did I want to do it? Not really. I kind of wanted to just stay in bed, not do anything, not open the blinds, just surf around on my phone, maybe do some Amazon shopping, you know? But I went and did it, feel great, took a shower, came over here, started this podcast, and now I have so many other things that I want to do today. I feel so much better after doing that. I feel like I can go out and pretty much accomplish anything. And I want to tell you about that because this is how it relates to refilling after nursing. When we have a crazy work schedule and we get back and we don't do anything, you know, and then go right back to work, we only start back, we're not 100% when we start back. We maybe even start at like, 75, maybe 90%, right? But why wouldn't you want to go into work when you have other people's lives that you're responsible for? Why wouldn't you want to go at 100%, right? It doesn't make any sense. So the last thing you want to do is to have somebody hurt under your watch, right? The second last thing you want to have, or maybe vice versa, however you feel about it, is that you don't want to jeopardize your license, right? You don't want to do something wrong. You don't want to look stupid in front of your peers, whatever it is. So it's really important to, on your days off, do something that is going to refill your cup. And it doesn't necessarily have to be exercise. It could be journaling, it could be reading, it could be hanging out with some friends, but in a positive way. And by positive, I mean like not drinking, not just sitting on the couch, smoking weed, whatever it is, that if what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong for you, right? So a couple other things to do while you are at work, right, as to not self-sabotage is, one, make your food, right? Or at least order healthy as much as you can. And don't rely on these pizza parties and snacks and things that everybody brings out, because you know what happens is we get stressed out at work and therefore we stress eat, right? I don't know how many calories I consumed in my first couple years in nursing just because I was so stressed out. And that was the only time I could get a little dopamine fix, a little bit of sugar, get that glucose spike so that I can still perform at a high level at my job. Saying yes to every shift, every extra shift, that's going to kill you. I know because it's killed me. Yes, the money's great. It can be, but you're just paying more to taxes. And unless you're doing something with that financially, which is my next point, it's really just a waste of time. Unless unless you do have some financial planning in your future, right? Whether that be for saving for something specific like an investment or an asset. I invest in real estate and I invest in knowledge. So what I mean by investing in knowledge is I just bought a new computer that's going to help me out because my other one kept crashing. It got me through nursing school, but it's 8 years old. I needed a new one. So I got this new computer. It loads a lot faster. I can get everything that I need on here. I can get these podcasts out to you guys earlier. I can edit easily and things like that. I also want to emphasize some of the relationships that we need to have. The friendships, the romantic relationships, the relationship with ourselves. These are things that need work. We are social creatures. We have to feel like we are part of some kind of community, right? And those interpersonal relationships are really important for that. So you have to give time for that. I am also talking about myself. I know that I need to give more time to the relationships that I have. I have some amazing people in my life and I would love to not work so much. But for now, there's a means to an end. There's a reason why I'm doing this. There is a finish line out there and I just have to keep my eyes on the prize, but also make time as much as I can. So it's a little bit of a balancing act. And then the last thing that I want to say is that when you say, oh, I don't have time for something, or oh, I'm too tired for that, or, whatever negative, don't do that shit. That is one of the worst things that you can do. That is like the epitome of self-sabotage. And what ends up happening is you start believing some of these things that you tell yourself. So let's think about it the opposite way. If every morning you get up and while you're brushing your teeth, you just think to yourself or whatever that you are doing the best and you are going to have a positive day and everything is going to be okay and things like that, that positive self-talk is going to bring you that much higher and you're going to exude that. People are going to see that in you. And that right there is very, very important. So don't talk bad about yourself, talk good about yourself. Okay. So a couple of key things that I always kind of reiterate in my head is ways to get kind of out of this. So one is the small wins. If you've never read the book Atomic Habits, great book, read it. One of the things that he talks about is making your bed in the morning, or start with habit stacking. Start these little habits throughout the day that give you the momentum to tackle on bigger habits, or it gives you enough confidence that if something comes over and tries to ruin your day, you can use that momentum that you already have from your habit stacking and push up through it. Okay, that's really, really important. Awareness is call yourself out on that. Call yourself out if you start talking bad about yourself or if you start going into these negative conversations that people are having at work. You're above that, right? This is all about self-improvement, a little bit of delayed gratification. You don't need to be a part of that group. And honestly, in the long run, you don't want to be. Do your own thing, keep the relationships and friendships, surface level if you can. If you have somebody that you're really close with, then nurture those relationships. Don't go into that petty bullshit of the office talk. Don't do it. It's not good. And that brings me to my next point is the environment. Keep the people around you positive in the sense of like, are they good for you, right? There's a saying, I know I'm going to screw this up, but if 5 of your friends all drive Lamborghinis, soon enough you'll be the sixth, right? So you are the company that you keep. Learn to say no to protect your energy. Boundaries, again, I'm gonna retouch on this. Boundaries has been really hard for me because I am very ambitious, and so when some new opportunity comes along, I'm like, yep, let's go, let's do it. I can do it. I can rally it up. No worries, I got it. You can count on me, right? It's very important, my word and how I hold myself. And then the last thing is future focus, right? Shift your perspective from this feels hard right now to this is what it's going to take to build a better version of myself. Build that better version. Don't listen to that inner bitch. Listen to that other side. You have the angel and the devil. Don't listen to the devil. You know what you don't need to do. Anything that's relaxing or that, it just kind of goes off like, I probably shouldn't be doing that even though I really want to. Listen to that other side. Listen to the other side of just keep going for it. Strive higher. Reach for higher things. Do the harder thing, right? Because you're going to get that reward. We all know what we need to do. We just need to do it. So I want to reiterate, couple things that you can do to kind of get out of this is, and these are things that I'll focus on in my podcast, is fitness, mental clarity, mindset, and financial freedom, right? So fitness, I like to at least go on a run or do something before every shift. This puts me in a energetic mood, and I feel like I can accomplish more things because I already did something hard before my shift. The second is mindset. It's me being creative. It is me starting this podcast, contributing some time to my social media, even journaling sometimes, talking to friends, catching up with people. Those are all going to help me with my mindset, as well as exercise. Exercise is profound in doing that, right? When I have, 215 pounds over my head and I'm benching that, I'm not thinking about the bill that I have to pay. I'm not thinking about the situation that I got in with a patient of mine. I'm not thinking about how short we are at work. I'm only thinking about not dropping that 215 pounds of my head. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. So exercise will actually help with your mindset. So exercise, increase mindset, build a stronger mindset, which is like learning things, writing, exercise, all that stuff. And thirdly is learning a new skill that aligns with your long-term goals. So for me, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm reading about underwriting commercial real estate. I know for me, nursing is right here. My investments and other things are right here. I want to eventually go into this. I don't want to stop nursing, but I don't want to have to rely on bedside nursing so much. And if you know me, you know I talk about this a lot. I think that it's great that we're nurses, and it's a fabulous career. If you want to go to different places, you can be comfortable wherever you go, which is great. But do I want to rely on it? Absolutely not. I don't want to be working bedside in the ER for the next 20 years. Just not me. So again, actually, to end this, to recap, self-sabotage is sneaky. It is saying no to getting up on your day off. It is saying yes to extra shifts when you really don't need it. It is not setting up boundaries, and it seems like a good idea in the beginning, but it usually never is in the long run. So the opposite of that, second point that I want to make, is self-preservation. Self-preservation is exactly the opposite of self-sabotage. Self-preservation often sounds like, oh, I really don't want to do this. But when you get done with it, I really don't want to run. But when you get done with that run, you're going to feel so much better because you conquered something that was difficult, right? And your body rewards that. Your body rewards that with a bunch of endorphins, and it makes you more hungry. You can eat a bigger meal, which I love to do. And so I want to challenge you guys into answering a question. I have a question for you. What's one area where you're sabotaging yourself, and what's one action you can take this week to turn it into self-preservation? So again, thank you for listening. This is Scrubs to Riches podcast. Please feel free to comment, like, share, or come visit me on my Instagram page at nurse_Shelbo. And I look forward to hearing from what you guys think. And thank you for listening. All right. Thanks. Take it easy. Bye.